All right. Well, the International Monetary Fund is worried that AI will harm the economy and the labor market, not so much because you'll lose your job and be on the government dole, more because they won't have anybody to tax once all the work is done by AI bots. They have laid this out specifically. They're saying they need to increase your taxes right now across the board for unemployment insurance that they say they'll give you when you're out of work because of the bots.
I have to tell you about our friends at ExpressVPN. We would not be able to do this show without ExpressVPN. So what is it? Well, it is a virtual private network, and it is the best in the industry, the fastest, most secure. They have servers in over 105 different countries. And when we are researching information for this show, we have to very often jump on ExpressVPN in order to get access to different news sources from around the world, because so many countries ban good information, trusted sources of news. They want you to watch CNN. They want you to watch really garbage mainstream media. And so we need to use ExpressVPN in order to go around those censors. And that's what we do. We also use it for protecting our family, for banking purposes and other things like that. So a VPN is just a virtual private network. It's a secure tunnel between your device and the internet. And when you download ExpressVPN, the app is so stinking easy to use. You can use it on your Mac, you can use it on your PC, you can use it on your iPhone, your Android device. It doesn't matter what device you're using. It is so easy to use. You simply select the country where you want to sign in. You hit go, you hit connect, boom, you're up and running in seconds. And it's so fast. You think, oh, this is going to really slow me down, right? This is really going to keep me from doing my job here because it's so slow. No. It's super fast. Very, very fast to use ExpressVPN. So go right now to expressvpn.com/redacted to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. That's right. Again, go to expressvpn.com/redacted right here on your screen to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free.
Listen to this dystopic horror and let me know if you have any other read on it. Do Kissick in our chat says, that sounds like communism. Yes. Yeah, but high-tech communism, and it's a little bit scary. So here's the document from the IMF. It says that AI will replace high-tech workers the same way that automation replaced blue-collar workers, and we all need to prepare for it with higher taxes so that we can have unemployment funds at the ready when we all are laid off and have no job because the bots have our job. This indicates that they are expecting a big pool of high-skilled workers to become drawers, right? They draw off the government dole. So if you're part of the middle class, you have an income you can live off of. They don't like that. They want you to become a member of the welfare class. They are pretending, again, that they're looking out for you, whereas the globalist agenda actually wants anybody as dependent as they possibly can. And this is happening. Listen to friend of the show, Peter St. Onge, talking recently about the 500,000 tech jobs that have already been lost this year alone.
But what's interesting is these mass layoffs are now blaming AI. So Microsoft announced a multi-billion-dollar investment into AI on the same day it announced those 10,000 layoffs. Facebook announced plans for, quote, investing heavily in AI in the same letter that it used to fire 10,000. Intuit followed its mass layoffs, declaring companies that don't go all in on AI will die. Essentially, tech companies are slashing entire armies of workers and replacing them with a few people who can use AI. The net is a wipeout in tech jobs. In fact, for the first time since the 2000 dot-com bust, IT employment is actually higher than U.S. employment. When I used to give career advice to my MBAs, I joked that going into tech was like becoming a stripper. You make a lot when you're young, but it goes down fast. Even today, you can find former senior programmers driving an Uber or mowing lawns, aged out of a fast-changing industry. So it looks like that's about to get a lot worse.
All right. Well, these layoffs will create what geographer Joel Kotkin calls emerging neo-feudalism. This is a terrifying idea. At the top is the oligarchy of tech billionaires replacing human labor, and the top echelon of society will own you if you are not amongst them. You're part of the plebeians, the proletariat, if you will. So what does that create is a welfare state. And that welfare state relies on the government not only to exist, but grow stronger. And that's why the IMF is arguing for social assistance programs to be funded now by you. They're calling it social insurance, like unemployment insurance, that can enhance individual and social welfare by smoothing consumption in the presence of credit and insurance market failures. They're saying then that will lead to social assistant programs later, like cash transfers. So, when you see on your paycheck, you have unemployment insurance, they want to add another line item, which they will call social insurance. And what that is a fund that you pay into. So when you get laid off, you will be able to draw from it. And so they'll call it, again, social assistance. So then you can get money, cash transfers, and other types of financial support to low income houses. So again, this is a brand new welfare state class. It was the educated working class, not just the blue collar class that maybe was edged out of their jobs during automation in the 70s. They acknowledged that this could create permanent dependence on the government out of previously self-sufficient working class. But hey, we got to do what we got to do because AI bots can't pay taxes. There's no way to tax them when this starts to happen. So we need it off of your back. They said, this could create a permanent increase in UI, would discourage job searches, which is like universal basic income, right? And lead to an increase in the unemployment rate. So could be a problem for many reasons, in which case, again, they say the tax burden of the entire government would fall to the working class. I mean, doesn't it already? And since they don't want to rely on the working class, they want you to pay for the job that you will eventually lose. Right?
Yeah. So you're going to be unemployed, but we'd like you to still pay taxes on the job that you no longer have.
No, well, they're saving for you, right?
Right.
So we're going to increase your taxes. We'll save it, and then we'll give it to you while you're transitioning to new industries that you may work in, such
like
as
a Ponzi scheme
for Big Brother,
right.
basically, right? And then
I like that they call it like social insurance, so that to save us the embarrassment of if we lose our job and we can no longer pay taxes, how embarrassing that would be for us if we're like, I'm sorry, I don't have any money for you to tax. I'm ashamed. Like, no, nobody's upset about that.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. Yeah. And again, one of the things they're worried about is that AI investment for tax is a tax deduction for companies. And so they're saying, wait a minute, we're letting the tech companies take a tax deduction for creating these AI bots that we won't be able to tax. So can we tax them in advance? There's this like complicated, do we tax it as capital income? They're really worried about that because they know that they would lose the taxable burden of the working class.
Key North up in our chat in Rumble says, enter UBI. Oh, look, a solution made just for you.
Well, this is exactly what that is, sort of under the guise of AI, pretending that they care about you and the job you will eventually lose. And again, they're saying that the tax burden should fall to you, dear American taxpayer, because AI makes capital taxes income more important, they write. The taxation of capital income is a controversial issue. So we really need to make sure that all taxes across the board are raised, and they mean every country. So they can't have this race to the bottom where maybe in Ireland there's a low tax rate and in other countries there's a high tax rate. They need every country to get on board with increasing their taxes so that they can have this social insurance for when the bots take over. And they're thinking that, I don't know, can we tax in advance? We're just not sure. What they say that governments will do with this money is retrain the workforce for a new set of skills. So they're saying they'll have these programs called ALMPs that will aim to improve skill acquisition for those capable. So they'll retrain you. You lose your job as a programmer because a bot can do it. We'll teach you to do something else, like the dishes. Is what I'm thinking. And again, these social assistance programs that train people for a new industry, well, ask the working class how that worked out for them in the 1970s when their jobs were replaced by automation. Have we seen renewed empowerment for those people? Of course not. We didn't in the 70s. We didn't really have the high income disparity that we have now, because of, working class versus educated class, or however you want to describe it. Automation provided cheap labor and created the welfare state, and the government promised rehabilitation for those workers, but they never delivered. And yet, it is not really the working class who champion more government assistance. That's a liberal elite thing to say. So what do the working class want? They want jobs. They want respect. They want family values. They want all of those things, right? Where liberals say, no, you need more. You can't get ahead. That's, not your problem. So what will happen? Will you start to see this social insurance on your paycheck so that you're paying into the job you will eventually lose? Will you see the working class become dependent on the government? Is this a move into neo-feudalism, communism, something else terrifying? Let me know what you think.